All righty. Good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday. This is Pete Erickson. I'm the founder of Modev. I'm the creator of Voice Summit. And this is part of our speaker series where we're getting to know the more than 300 speakers coming from around the world to join us at Voice Summit. It's a big number.
It is a big number.
This morning we are chatting with Patrick Kelly. Patrick is the Chief Revenue Officer at Private Key. Patrick, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Pete. It's great to be here.
So first and foremost, tell us a little bit about Private Key and what y'all are up to.
Yeah, so Private Key is a small startup in Philadelphia focusing on improving the way that you and I as consumers assert our identity. We started as a company trying to solve a password problem. You know, no one likes passwords. No one likes to be answering lots of security questions. We've really evolved into a platform that makes it easy to use your phone and the biometrics on your phone to confirm transactions really across any channel.
That's interesting. So we're getting used to the idea now of two-factor authentication, right?
Yep.
And so now with voice, and a lot of us have voice speakers in our home. So if we conduct a transaction on that, or we're interacting with a skill and doing something, what you're saying is Private Key gives us a way to more securely authenticate ourselves during that transaction.
It does, yeah, at a much, much stronger level of authentication than currently available, say, on Amazon or Google's platforms. Yes.
Oh, interesting. Very cool. So there was a report that just came out this week by Erickson, and I think if I can remember the stat off the top of my head, but the stat was something like 56% of the people trust the smart speaker companies with their data. That means a number of them don't.
Right.
I know you all are focused on authentication, but authentication really is related to that number. So any comments on that data coming out in that report?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's reflective of the fact that, you and I as consumers are still wary about, hey, it's not like I'm in front of my screen and I've already logged into my bank account. And so I feel secure that I'm interacting with my bank securely. How safe is it that I'm just speaking to my Alexa, telling my banking skill to wire money, say? Mm-hmm. I think it makes the point that we're not yet comfortable, and rightfully so, having the same level of exchange on voice with our personal financial and health information, PII in general, that we do through sort of more secure interfaces that we have.
Right. So I think that those numbers will change as people start to have experiences and have good transactions. So if they're telling their bank skill or action or capsule, fill in the blank,
right, whatever, right.
And they're saying, hey, transfer, $1,500 from my checking to my savings account. And then I get a push notification, with touch your fingerprint ID or show your face to your retina scanner to authenticate this transaction. And then it goes through. Suddenly my trust is building that the smart speaker is a good way to go.
Yeah, exactly. And especially because the way that would occur is that would occur through the mobile banking app on your phone that you already have. So you already trust that as a, hey, I trust interacting with my bank on my mobile phone. Well, no, that's cool. Now my bank is using my mobile phone as a way for me to confirm these high value interactions that I might have on Alexa or Google. And it doesn't mean that everything has to be confirmed, right? If I ask, if I'm speaking to my bank through, I'm just using Alexa as the example, what's my balance? Well, that's a pretty safe, interaction that the bank might have said, hey, your balance is $4,000. But when it gets more risky, like, hey, wire all of my money to Pete, that's when they might step up and say, hey, we really want you to confirm this is really you and not some bad actor, not my neighbor, not whoever, speaking to my device.
So interesting. I think that, when I think back on, because of trust issues, one that comes up with the smartphones, but it's funny, when the internet first came into being, and I was in the e-commerce space in 1998, and, the big controversial, discussion then was nobody will ever put their credit card in a website. That's just not going to happen. We're not, and we were talking to major retailers that are like, no. We'll put our products on there and show them, but we don't think we don't think people will really put their credit card in and trust the internet with that. And then, look, we see what happened, right? I mean, we see that that trepidation by the incumbents allowed a company like Amazon to go in and fill that void in spades. And then to the mobile space, right? I remember the first mobile apps by, a lot of major companies, banks included, that were just really, really pretty horrendous, right? But there was also this trust factor. A bank would say, people aren't really going to do their banking. We're going to give them information on mortgages, on savings and checking, but it's not going to be transactional yet. And then we see what happened there, right? And and then here we are in this movement now to the voice first era, where we can actually interact with our products wherever we are, in our home, in our car, on the way to work. Right. And an integrated component to that is authentication. So
I think that it's likely that technology like ours today, we might have to evolve, because things like voice recognition may be good enough at some point in the future that you're driving down the road or you're talking to your Alexa, and Amazon can absolutely confirm at the level of trust that you need that it's really you, right? But that's not there today. There's a big gap that still exists, and that's where technology like ours we think is a good idea.
So I pulled up the talk that you're going to be giving at Voice Summit. So for those of you watching the interview, if you have not visited the website yet, voicesummit.ai is our web address. And again, over 4 days, we have a day 0 now, which is our premium workshops. And then we've got 3 days of packed programming, keynotes, breakout talks, panels, workshops, parties, you name it. It's going to be a lot of fun. But Patrick is a returning speaker from last year. This year, talking about a case study with a customer at Vicom. Tell us a little bit about that case study that you'll be given at the conference.
Yeah, I sure will. So the what we're talking about with Vicom is a little different than what you and I just talked about, sort of as consumers, but it's really in the same idea of trusting the interface that you're talking to. So Vicom is a IBM partner, and their clients are mostly large financial institutions, large insurance companies in New York. And the reality is that those institutions don't trust and aren't willing to create interfaces to their enterprise transactional applications that are putting through millions of transactions every day. They're not willing to put all of that data through Amazon or Google. And so Vicom has gone out with some help from IBM, and they've created their own essentially on-premise voice platform intended specifically to aid the folks in those mission critical positions in these large financial and insurance firms, some healthcare, because people still want a voice interface. They just aren't, there's just some applications where what's available with the big, Amazon and Google platforms, again, people just don't have the comfort to put their data through there. Right. So they've developed a completely on-prem solution. So what's interesting is, the entire voice platform that they've built, and they call it Viva, it's all on premise. It's all running on IBM mainframes. So that just pick it up. Citibank or something could run this entirely on their own infrastructure and never have the data leave sort of their walled garden of their network.
Wow, yeah. That's so they're deep in the enterprise, and
very deep.
And so, would you say Private Key is also focused B2B enterprise?
Yeah, we certainly are with applications like that. And so the first example that they're going to show is they're going to say, look, there's network engineers that are constantly monitoring these the mainframes and their platforms, and what today takes some sort of very intelligent querying through a screen, they want to make it easy for one of these network engineers to be able to say, hey, TJ, what's the status of our CPUs, or what's our utilization? Just some very,
totally.
Things that, and get a response back. And they think that that's a great idea.
I think this is one of the biggest opportunities in this space. And that is that, I spend my time looking at data. I spend my time looking at, at all kinds of data across the performance of our events.
Yes.
A lot of times I would like to just be able to ask it,
Right.
And I think we're getting there. I think that that's what Microsoft is doing with Cortana now. And I think that, Salesforce with Einstein, Adobe with their integrated voice into the Adobe Experience platform. And I think that authentication is going to be a critical part of all this. So Patrick, I really appreciate you taking some time to chat with us today and let us in a little bit on what Private Key is up to and what your case study is going to be all about. And I tell you what, anybody that is thinking about this space, this type of case study and meeting folks like Patrick is going to be critical to really understanding, what's happening in this voice first era. Go check out the website at voicesummit.ai. Again, we've got 4 days of programming, over 300 speakers coming from 25 countries to Newark, New Jersey at the New Jersey Institute of Technology. Private Key is going to be there. Patrick, thank you so much again, and look forward to seeing you there.
Yeah, thank you, Peter. It was a great opportunity to talk with you this morning.
And for anybody out there that is a student, we have scholarships available as well. We have student pricing, or if you're transitioning and you need economic assistance, please apply for a scholarship. We want to make this conference as inclusive and accessible as possible. Again, I'm Pete Erickson. Been chatting with Patrick Kelly at Private Key. Have a great day.
Okay, thanks.